Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of Where I Went Wrong. And in this edition of Where I Went Wrong, I'll be doing Where I Went Wrong, UFC Fight Night, Vera versus Sandhagen. So went 7-3, 7 of 10, 70%, solid card. Not really much to really say where I went wrong at with this video or with that card. This really could probably be a short, but I ain't gonna do a short. I'm gonna talk a little bit with this one, go into detail a little bit with this one, but yes, for the most part, a pretty solid card. And definitely, it was a card. Actually, it was a card that a lot of people did terrible on. But yeah, 70%. That's pretty solid. That's real solid, especially on a tougher card. But nonetheless, let's get into the first L. This is where I went wrong, not where I went right. So first pick that went wrong was Trevin Gals versus Steven Peterson. And this pick, I said Steven Peterson versus Preston Parsons, not Steven Peterson. Trevin Gals versus Preston Parsons. That was the first pick that went wrong on the card, first of three. And yeah, with this one, it's the one that I can feel the least bad about. Matter of fact, I don't feel bad about it at all. I feel like Preston Parsons should have won, but I ain't gonna be one of the people like, oh, that's not an L. He won. So I'm gonna say I really went 8 of 10. Nah, he lost. The judges say he lost. He lost. I can feel this way or feel that way. Ultimately, a loss is a loss, but you could take like this guy really should have won this fight. I still saw this weakness in him, or saw this in this guy, and then maybe the next card or next fight they are in, then like you could capitalize and pick against that guy that shouldn't have won. If he fight a similar stylistic matchup or a better guy that's similar or such take a step up. And the guy that lost, maybe he take a step down. You're like, oh, yeah, he didn't really lose that last fight. And he did this and this and that. No, take the intel from it. But yeah, I feel like Parsons did well to get the takedowns. He could have controlled a little bit better. He'd have the, his pacing and cardio wasn't as good, is estimated. So it's some stuff you could take from Parsons. Like, well, Parsons is not exactly who we thought he is. His control could be a little bit better, or a lot better. Takedown looked pretty good. Overall, looked pretty solid. But the ability the lack of ability to really control the positions as well is a concern. The fact that his pacing and cardio is not as good as expected, you gotta take notches off from that. Gals on the side, he looked cleaner. His pacing and cardio looked better than it had in the past, so that was a factor that allowed him to get to a decision. Jab looked pretty good. It's never like Parsons had the best head move anyway. We saw what's his name? Other dude picked him apart with a jab. I forget his name right now for whatever reason. But anyway, I'm talking too much about this pick. Ultimately, I feel like Parsons should have won. It was a very close fight. And even if he did lose. It's not even if he did lose or clearly lose, but he lost. But yeah, basically what I'm gonna say, going forward, Gal's still somebody I'm gonna look into pick against. It's hard, like it's not like this was the cleanest performance and not even a performance that he truly like this cleanly won. Like he just won a clear performance. Like still saw him get dropped. Still saw him control a lot of places, and yeah, but not a bad L at all, and not one I can say, oh, this is such a bad pick. I was so wrong here. Like it's not one of those picks. Like yeah, it is what it is. Could have went this way, could have went that way, but the intel was not off at all. The prediction was not bad at all. So that's just that one. Then the second L was Steven Peterson versus Lucas Alexander, and this was a terrible pick. And let me just say, like if Peterson, well, he retired now, but Peterson is a dog. He'll probably fight for your money. Is a dog. Like he might shine in dog spots, or at least show heart and grit in dog spots. But as a favorite, he should never be picked as a favorite. And even in my prediction, I said, well, it was a low confidence as well, but still the fact to even pick him, this probably was one of the clearest dog picks on the card to pick Lucas Alexander. Lucas Alexander might not be experienced, might not be that or nothing, but he did look like the cleaner striker and all that stuff. And then on the other side, Steven Peterson might be the better, or might be the more well-rounded, more experienced fighter. Had fared better against better competition, fought better competition, had like twice as much experience and whatnot. It's not like Peterson was like 40, he was like 32, 33. So like that's a good spot to pick Steven Peterson, but as a favorite, nah. Dog, like they would have put him as a dog in the spot. He probably would have fought better or something. But as a favorite, nah. Peterson never shows to fight with great fight IQ or great composure or any type of real logic or sense behind his game. I'm not saying he's an idiot or anything, but I feel like he does fight like a trained fighter, well-trained fighter and whatnot. But he doesn't fight, he doesn't take it that other level with it. Like, oh my, maybe I should mix the takedown here. Maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. I just feel like a lot of times he just ends up being a scrapper and not really a dinker out there. Definitely far more scrapper than a dinker. So a guy like that, kind of hard to get behind anytime, and he should have been a clear. It should have been a clear pick for Lucas Alexander, not a high confidence, probably a low confidence as well pick. Because again, Lucas Alexander he's not like he's some super stud himself, but he looked clean. He looked clean on the night though. So he looked clean on the night, and again, back to the pick. Why not pick Steven Peterson, or why shouldn't I have picked Steven Peterson? You can't expect Steven Peterson to be the guy to make adjustments. I know it'll be a scrappy fight, but you can't expect Steven Peterson to be the type of guy that would make adjustments. So I feel like Lucas Alexander would have been a clear pick. The guy that I feel like has at least some clear advantage in the striking, clear technique. And this is the same Steve Peterson, the same guy who got outstruck for like 3 rounds by Alex Teixeira, who had like a broken hand or something, and just beat him with a jab for 15 minutes. I don't think he barely even attempted to take down. So that just shows you Steven Peterson's not the guy that had like, oh, I'm really a dinker or out there. He's not. So it's a favorite, not a good option. Dog maybe, but if he's his favorite, it should be like Peterson's a favorite in this one. Let me go with dog here, unless it's case like a guy that maybe is a grappler, a Chase Hooper type fighter who don't really have the best striking, but more of a grappler. Then maybe they try and grapple Steve Peterson, and he show that Steve Peterson shows like I have grappling as well, and then got that experience and I got that striking as well over you. But a striker with any bit of decent takedown defense, probably picked him over Steve Peterson all day. And yeah, so that should have been a clear pick for Lucas Alexander. Low confidence, but the pick should have been on Alexander, given the fact that Peterson was the favorite in that one. And yeah, now to the final pick I got wrong. We had Tucker Lutz versus Daniel Pineda. And I just wanted another low confident pick that went wrong here, but I was average. I don't know. It definitely was not high though. Average or low confident pick here. I feel like Tucker Lutz was, actually, it was a low confident pick. But yeah, Tucker Lutz versus Daniel Pineda. Yeah, I just felt with this one, we didn't know I didn't know where Daniel Pineda would be at skill-wise. I did think overall Daniel Pineda was the better fighter, more experienced fighter, more tested fighter. And I don't think Tucker Lutz is just amazing status. I think he's one of those guys like he checks out the boxes enough, and that's about it. He's not a guy like, oh, he got phenomenal striking, he's so fast, he's so strong, he's so this or that. Like he checks the boxes. Like he's pretty good head on the shoulder, okay striking, okay wrestling, okay grappling, good cardio and stuff like that. He checks the boxes. And I thought he fights pretty smart. I thought he would win a workman performance, try to lock up with Pineda a lot and just wear him down against his cage and probably win probably a close but boring decision, but doing what he had to do. But Pineda came out there, he looking big and juicy out there, and he had the more power, and he hurt Lutz at one point, and was submitted with a guillotine in the second round. So I don't know if he was on the sauce or not the sauce, but it's kind of leaning to the fact that he was on the sauce. But let's not even just say he won. Let's not say he won because he was on sauce. But yeah, I can't feel bad about that one. But I guess given the fact that Pineda was the better overall fighter, but 37 years old in a lighter weight class with like 2-3 year layoff. In the last fight, he was getting picked apart, obviously by a better fighter, but still, he should have lost that fight. I don't know why they even allowed that to be into a no contest. Should have been a stoppage. He's getting mixed up by what's his name? I don't know, Andre Philly. I'd be losing these names in my head. Like I feel like they should be like this, but like sometimes I like, damn, what is the dude's name? But nonetheless, ain't a pick I feel bad about. Like, I feel like, again, pushing up there in age, wasn't looking the best in his recent fights. We didn't know if he was going to come in here like some flat guy because he only looked good because he was juiced up. So he's not juiced up, so he's going to come here looking flat. But hey, maybe he is juiced up, maybe he's not. But yeah, it's just one of those picks like maybe just throw dog money out there and lean to Pineda on the dog side. But yeah, ultimately I ain't gonna feel too bad about it. Maybe from a better perspective, like I ain't put no money on Lutz, but I'm saying maybe from a better perspective, knowing how volatile Pineda could be, or you don't know what form of him could show up. Maybe put in the distance might have been something you could add in on your cards or whatever, or your bets. But that's just from the better perspective. But I think ultimately I avoided that fight because I didn't know what Pineda we would get. I know it's not like Lutz had a good value on him, so it was like I didn't really care for it because I didn't know if the fight would go to decision. Like, because it easily could have been a case where Pineda could have kicked his leg out or something and then TKO'd him or something. Lutz probably likely wasn't going to get a finish, but Pineda could have got a finish. He did get a finish, but yeah, if you're leaning to Lutz, you're likely leaning to decision, likely leaning over. So, like, I can't really trust Lutz too much, especially given how crazy Pineda is. Like, so ultimately just avoided the whole fight on the betting side. And I guess it was the right thing to do because, again, and in the distance, and the other guy who I didn't pick won. So, yeah. So that was my 3 L's. Then the main event, let's just talk about that shortly. Marlon Vera versus Corey Sandhagen. Perfect prediction, I guess, decision here. It was not as competitive as I thought. It was very clear. Sandhagen was in the charge and really could have won all 5 rounds, to be honest. Like, to be honest, he could have won all 5 rounds. That judge who said 48-47, Vera is like smoking crack. But yeah. But it's pretty much what I said though, as far as Vera being a guy who, mostly beat. Matter of fact, his whole streak has really been older guys. And the youngest guy he fought was 35 on that streak. Same kind of era as our poor tendency or bad tendency that Piotr Jan has of really waiting for that moment in fights, going high guard and taking damage or just wearing on the arm, then waiting for that moment or I see that moment or waiting for your opponent to slow down or waiting for an opportunity. But you go in there with a younger fighter, you easily end up just down on the cards. And matter of fact, Vera is way worse than Piotr Jan because Piotr Jan don't be losing the whole fight and needing a finish to win. He'll get those drops and then he'll get you hurt at points in the fight. But he don't mean like, oh, I'm in the 4th round and I need a finish. He rarely ever be in the 4th round. I need a finish. I mean, obviously against Billy, but it ain't gonna be against literally every person. Vera be in the 5th round with some 50-year-old grandpa and still be needing to finish in the 5th round. That grandpa be smacking with the cane for 4 rounds, then the arm get tired, back below, like, then Vera him with a crane kick at 4:59 of the 5th round. Like, Vera always need to come from behind against literally everybody. Davy Grant, like, he was losing the 1st round or first round and a half against an old Davy Grant that, mollywopped him when he was, when Vera wasn't in his prime. And I think when Grant was, roughly his age prime. Matter of fact, I think Davy Grant right now is in his prime as far as overall where he's at. But physically, you're probably back there. But anyways, all I'm just trying to say is Vera be allowing everybody to be up on him a lot of rounds. So a guy like Sandhagen who's gonna mix it up, be dynamic, be active, unless you really consistently hurting him or consistently in the fight with him, you allow him to just tee off on you, he gonna tee off on you. And that's exactly what Vera did. And unlike the other guys, he was able to finish. Like, Frank Edgar, legend, but the man's old, old and been through it. Like 37 with 40, something like that when he fought him. Dominic Cruz was 38 when he fought him. Like, broken both 2 bad knees. The guys he was needing to finish over and was able to get those finished over were older guys. These guys not in their prime. If they were in their prime, they would easily decision him. Like, easily decision him. Maybe Frank Edgar would TKO, bust him up, tap him out or something. Cruz would, I probably feel, this decision him prime for prime. But yeah, you fight these older guys and you were able to get, pull a rabbit out the hat because they're older. You were able to get a finish. They don't take damage as well anymore. Probably in their prime, maybe they would even get dropped by, or maybe they would recover fast. Frank Edgar probably roll and blast double him or something. But now you're going with a young guy. You got both you guys in your 30. Well, both of you guys are 30 on the dot. That finishing and that hurting damage not going to come as much. So very same adjustment that Piotr Jan got made. You got to be more active. You got to take more risks. You got to be more willing to take damage to give damage. But you can't afford. It's not a 12-round boxing match. You can't afford to give up 4 rounds and like, oh, now the person's tired. Now I'm gonna start stalking him. I'm gonna start teeing off on him or something. And now I got 8 more rounds to go, and you now 4 rounds down. I could have absorbed damage for 4 rounds. I'm not too badly hurt. I'm still pretty sharp, still pretty fresh. And you guys just do the kitchen sink at me. Now I'm ready to tear you up for the rest of the 8 rounds and probably get you out of there. But you got 5 rounds. You ain't got 12. You got 5 rounds. You would wait that, and you gonna have the 4th round. Matter of fact, you will need a finish a lot of these times, especially with Vera. Like I said, Piotr Jan has the same issue, but not as bad as Vera has it. Like, Vera let everybody get him deep down on the card, like put him down on the cards. I feel like Piotr Jan might be like a round and a half, against pretty much everybody, or at least, matter of fact, probably just a round and like a quarter or something. But Vera literally like give you 4 rounds or 3 rounds or 2 rounds before you start really tuning it up. A lot of these cases. So yeah, it's definitely something for Vera to adjust, but only 30 can make improvement. What's the name? But anyway, I did have my face the whole video, but I ain't editing that out. I already been talking for 40 minutes. I ain't doing that. But anyway, yeah, Vera got to make some adjustments. Good look from Sandhagen. Good to call out. Well, I don't know. It's not the smartest to call out Murad Dvalishvili because Dvalishvili, he just hold on the spot. The guy just want to hold the spot and don't want to fight his friend. You go like, I'm just gonna sidestep you. You don't want to fight your friend? Let me just get that Aljo rematch, or let me get that winner of Cejudo versus Aljo. Let me get that fight. Like, you don't want to fight your friend? It's like, it could look good if he does beat him, but it looks stupid if he loses Now the division's held up because Rod won't fight Aljo or something. Or yeah, that if Aljo wins and Rod wins, it's like now the division held up. Versus you could have like said, this guy don't want to fight his friend, I'm just gonna sidestep you. So that would have been the smarter move. Like he should have been calling out the winner of Cejudo versus Aljo. But yeah, that's what he should be called out. But you know how they're gonna probably match it up. They're gonna probably gonna have the Cejudo Aljo fight first. And Cejudo wins, they're like, well, okay, now the Marab versus Sandhagen fight makes sense because either way, both of those guys can fight Cejudo if Cejudo wins. If Aljo wins, they're like, why are we gonna do that? We don't want to risk losing our number one contender to a guy that's not going to fight his friend. So they gotta play that by the ear. Let the fights play out and then maybe do that. But I feel like it wasn't the smartest call out. But hey, maybe it works out. Maybe Cejudo wins, and then it makes sense. But if Cejudo don't win, it don't make no sense at all, and it'd been better just to call out the champ or to say I want the title shot. But that's the video. Again, went 7-3, 7 of 10, 70%, solid card. That's the video. And let's go and kill this next card. But it's gonna be like a week off, but gonna kill this next card when it does happen. And that's the video. Peace.